What's up, everyone? I'm CL Connolly, and today she's climbing in and out of my shirt, so this is where we're gonna do this. And I just want to talk about words and phrases that I don't like. It's probably an unpopular opinion with some of these, but I will say some of them are incorrect, but it's natural vernacular to other people, and some of them are just the sound of the words or phrases are irritating to me. That's just how that works out. Like the word anyway, when people say it anyways, there's no S at the end of that word. It's like, hi, sweetie. You're making mommy blurry. But the word is anyway. It's not anyways. And I've seen where they do that in like TV shows where they use the word anyways. It's like, that's not the right word. The word is anyway. There's no S on the end of that word. It's normal vernacular for most people to say anyways, but the word is anyway. That's it. The end. Anyway. It irritates me when I hear people say anyways, but you know, whatever. It's normal for some people to say it. Another word that I can't stand, but it is actually a word, it's just irritating to hear people say it, is gotten. Oh, this is what I've gotten. I don't like that word. There's something. Purchased, received. There's always another word for that. I mean, just gotten, really? I don't know. What is that? Oh, boughten. I've heard people say the word boughten. Boughten is not a word. It's bought. I bought this. Purchased. You can say that too. Although sometimes when people say I've bought this, it's like, to me, it sounds like you're talking about someone who likes flowers, you know, a botanist. I don't know. Pretty sure that's the same thing as flowers, botanist. Anyway. Oh, squat. Okay, so squat is like my moist. Only because of the fact that the Bloodhound Gang actually sings this song where it says, does she stick to linoleum when she squats? So every time I hear the word squat, the only thing I can think of is this sound where it's like, you know, I don't know. If you know the song, then you know what I'm talking about, because then all of a sudden, that's all I can think about. That is literally moist for me. Moist does not bother me. Squat bothers me. That word just sounds so disgusting, and it's because of the Bloodhound Gang in their song when it says, does she stick to linoleum when she squats? Like, oh. Oh, here's another one that's normal vernacular, but completely wrong. I didn't do nothing. Okay, in school, like junior high, I didn't understand when the teacher said, well, then what did you do? I didn't understand it. But the more I got older, the more I understood it is a double negative. If you didn't do nothing, then you obviously did something. I don't know how many people actually understand that when you say it that way, but I do now, because you didn't do that, which would be nothing. So, in other words, there is something going on that you did do. Do you see what I'm saying? I hate hearing people say, oh, I didn't do nothing. Yes, you did. Because you didn't do anything, if that's the case. Do you know what I mean? Anybody else get the cringe or just every time someone says something incorrectly? Like, I couldn't care less. Like, or I could care less. I could care less. It's I couldn't care less because there isn't any less that I could care. But if you say I could care less, then there's apparently some less that you could actually care for that. Do you see how sometimes words, when they're heard incorrectly, it's almost where like the Mandela effect actually comes in, where you hear something one way and you think that's how it's supposed to be said, but then later you see it written down and you realize that it's not. And then you're like, oh my gosh, the Mandela effect, blah, blah, blah. Like Payless Shoe Source. I know that a lot of people think that it was Payless Shoe Store, but it's always been Source. And I think it's funny how, because with the Mandela effect, everybody seems to think that it's, you know, Payless Shoe Store, because that's how people would say it. Payless Shoe Store. I remember when I first started reading, I asked my mom, why does it say Payless Shoe Source? So I know that back in the 80s, it said source on it. So I knew that that's what it was. It's the source of the shoes. This is where you get them type of thing, right? But for some reason, because so many people had said shoe store, that's where that Mandela effect came in. And it's funny because I like seeing how the Mandela effects actually work. It's almost the same thing. You hear it said one way, so you automatically assume that that's how you're supposed to say it, but then you don't realize that the saying is incorrect because there is a double negative or a double connotation as to where things happen. And I think that's where a lot of this comes in, where it's just like, oh my God, don't say it like that because it's wrong. You know what I mean? Like, let's see. Oh, the dollar symbol after numbers. I've noticed that a lot of Gen Z does this. Okay, I'm not blaming them in any way because of the way that you say a number and then you say dollars, where you say it's $258. So I get that. But the fact is that if school is not teaching you properly that dollar symbol goes before the number, it's like Spanish. With Spanish, you always put the upside down question mark so that you know the inflection in your voice when you ask the question. The exclamation point goes upside down before it, so you know the inflection of what the rest of it is, right? Before you get to the question mark. But with the dollar symbol, it's a dollar. So it's supposed to be the amount of money. So you understand that before the number comes. Do you see what I'm saying? Putting it after the number is so irritating, and it bugs the shit out of me that it is actually happening so much more often than it really should. I'm just saying. And I know that sometimes it bugs people when people say the T in often, but often just makes it sound, I don't know. I've always said often. It's like, I've heard people say across the street, across. Okay, there's no ED and there's no T at the end of that word. It's across. And I know that has more to do with like, where they come from and things like that. Cause my parents say that. They say across a lot of the times, and they're from New York. So I know that it has more to do with like areas and stuff like that, but the word is across. That does not bother me, but sometimes it does. There are times when it's like emphasized whenever they say it. Oh, it's across the street. Why do you emphasize the part of the word that doesn't exist? That's all I'm saying. Anywho, oh, what else do I have on here? I have a list. I literally have a list of things that bug the shit out of me. Texting. So I have received text messages, emails, things like that with people using the wrong form of their and your. I get it. Oh, and on Facebook. I have actually gotten out of a group because they don't know that there are 3 different forms of there. They just put THERE no matter what. So that's kind of irritating. Just saying. There are 3 different forms of there. There are 2 different forms of your. There are 3 different forms of to. And not understanding, okay, I will say this, not understanding the difference between TO and TOO at certain times is fine, but TO is literally from here to here. That's it. Okay, that's the only time that is used. When you're going from here to here, it's from this time to this time, that's TO. Whenever you're using it in a different context where it's also or this too, TOO. This as well kind of thing. I love you too, TOO. It's too much of something, TOO, because there's too many O's. I know that a lot of people have learned it that way. I'm just saying that is one thing that I will say that two I can understand, because my husband always says I love you too, TO. And one time I came back with you love me to wear, and he goes, what? I get it. I understand sometimes. Yeah. But either way, whatever. Two is not as bothersome as there. Okay, when it belongs to some people, it's THEIR. When it is over there in a direction, it is THERE. When it is they are, it is THEY apostrophe RE. They are there. Their table. Their house. THEY. No, that is not right. That is THEIR. They're going over there. THEY apostrophe RE THERE. That's now I'm getting that one right. I feel like sometimes because she's like in my shirt and against my skin, and I haven't been able to figure out how to file her nails down, so sometimes she gets my skin, and so sometimes my brain stops working when I'm terrified that something else is going to happen. Anyway, so they're going to. They're, THEY apostrophe RE. They are going to. If you can break up the word, there's always going to be an apostrophe RE, if that makes sense. But that is something that I cannot stand, is when I get I'll get a text message and it says, oh, we went over to their house, THERE. I'm sorry, what? That's not right. So, anywho, I don't know. I'm trying not to be a grammar Nazi, and I will say that on Facebook it is so irritating. There are people I have muted so I don't have to see their posts sometimes because they use wrong forms of words or their grammar is just atrocious. So I have to make them go away for a little while because I'm getting the cringe every time I see it. There are times that I will get on Facebook, check my notifications, and get out completely because I cannot stand the fact that people do not use proper grammar when they're in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and sometimes people in their 60s. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, oh my God, did you never learn throughout life the proper forms of these words? So there is that. Oh, okay, so the last word I have on here is costed. Okay, costed is not a word. It cost this much. Cost. You don't have to add an ED. It's like saying, oh, look at all the fishes. Fish is plural on its own. It's also not deers, it's deer. Deer is plural on its own. It's not sheeps, it's sheep. Sheep is plural on its own. There are certain words that are plural and singular. It just happens. Costed is not a past tense word. You cannot add an ED just because you want to say that it was this price. Use the word price. It was the price of something. Do not say it costed me this much. Costed is not a word. I don't know. It's just something that's irritating. It gives me the cringe. It's just, ooh. No. I actually have watched someone on a YouTube video, and they mispronounce the word cadaver and they say cadaver. I can no longer watch their videos. I'm sorry, no. I had to block you, so I did not see any of your videos anymore because I cannot stand the fact that you say the word cadaver. It's a cadaver. You're talking about a dead body. Please, oh my God, learn the word properly. And I can't even say that it is, people who mispronounce words have never heard them out loud. They've only read them. That means that you don't come into contact with enough people in the world. I'm just saying, get out in the world and expand your social skills. Please. Oh my God. If all you do is say, I spend 6 days a week in my house. I go to the grocery store. Although lately that's not exactly that, it's not exactly true. Like when I went to Houston Horror Film Fest, okay? The baby got left at home. She was with my husband. She was not with me. I don't know what that is, but let me have it. Oh, I knew you were going to do that. But she was not with me because she should never be out in public. That's just how that works, right? And if I go to the grocery store with my husband, I sit in the truck while he goes inside with the list. That's how that works. But we get her out of the house and she gets to look around and see the world and things like that. But otherwise, I am literally at home. Do I have any social skills? Yes. There are people out in the world that I still talk to on the phone, through text message, whatever, there are still people I talk to. And anyone who has actually, understood my lifestyle choice into getting this sweet little baby, come here, honey pie, this sweet little baby, they will come over if they want to hang out. They know that I cannot take her out in public. She is not allowed in restaurants. She really should not be around other people because we can pass germs to her. But I actually get out in the world. I have social interactions, and she recognizes herself. No, ma'am, you cannot have that. That's too small. No. Let me have it. Thank you. I know. But I still go out and have social interactions with people specifically because I'm not an idiot. And I'm not saying people who mispronounce words are idiots or say things incorrectly are idiots. It's just the fact that it's regular vernacular that they've learned over the years and they've just said it repeatedly. I'm not going to say that there are people that I went to school with that don't still have that I didn't do nothing mentality. It's irritating. I can't stand it. I'm so glad that my son doesn't speak that way because, oh my gosh, I don't like it. And it is probably one of the most used phrases that really just, I don't know, it gives me the cringe, is I didn't do nothing. That is the biggest cringe. There are writers groups on Facebook I've actually gotten out of because these people had incorrect grammar and nobody ever corrected them in the comments. And if they did correct them in the comments, they went and cried about it. Oh, why are you being so mean to me? Why are you a writer in a writers group who has poor grammar and just the things no, I'm sorry. If you are writing poor grammar on social media, then you apparently cannot write good books. And for nobody to actually say anything in the comments, there was one though that I got out of specifically because someone had asked who's Anne Rice when she died, and people were very mean about it. I mean, first of all, this is probably a young person who has never read a vampire book in their life, maybe, possibly. I have no idea. But I don't want you eating my books, please. But anyway, so I can't fault them for not knowing who Anne Rice is. But the thing is that if you're going to be in a horror writing group, you should probably know who the, predecessors are to our genre. Just saying. Anyway, but they were really mean and awful to this person. And I kind of thought at first, I was like, how do you not know who Anne Rice is? But as I read some of the comments, I was like, wow, these people are really harsh and really mean. I don't want to be a part of a group where people are just going to be awful. So I got out of that group. But I get it. Sometimes the young people don't know, who the older writers are. I mean, Anne Rice was an older author. I get that. I mean, if they don't know who Stephen King is, well, now you lost all credibility for anything. I'm sorry. It spooks her every time I cough. I'm just having a lot of drainage because I left a community tab post coming back from the Houston Horror Film Fest. I was not feeling well. I had to wear a mask to keep her from getting sick, and I wasn't going to film videos with my mask on. Her little face peeping up. But anyway, that's all I'm going to say for now. She's going to take over because she knows that's her in the camera and she wants to see. She might actually start talking to it. But anyway, that's it. That's all I got. Just remember, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm trying to educate you. Please don't say costed. It's stupid. It's only if there's AC in front of costed that is okay because you've been accosted. I don't know. Okay. I think my sick brain has started to come in and I may want to put my mask back on because if I'm going to start coughing again, I need to watch out for that. And yes, she does like to get my laptop, so I need to close that too. But anyway, that's it. Like, comment, share, subscribe, or don't. I don't give a shit. Do whatever the fuck you want. I'm just here rambling and saying bullshit with my little Mankey and my two little dogs. That's it. Okay, bye!